Hi, beautiful soul. Welcome to this energy update for twin flames and divine counterparts on the full moon in Scorpio that is happening on Friday, May the 1st, 2026. This full moon will happen at 6:23 p.m. London time, 7:23 p.m. Brussels, Central European time, and in the US, the full moon will happen at 1:23 p.m. EDT, 10:23 a.m. PDT, and in Australia, this full moon will happen at May the 2nd at 3:23 a.m. AEST. This full moon is known as a flower moon, and it will happen at 11 degrees 20 in Scorpio. The moon is in Scorpio and the sun is in Taurus. So a full moon is always a peak of illumination, something that has been building. It reaches visibility, and it doesn't create new energy, but it reveals what's already there. And when Scorpio is involved, that illumination goes very deep. This is not a surface level full moon. I'm a little bit later with this energy update because I have been feeling it. I felt it yesterday. It's very intense. It touches emotional undercurrents, hidden attachments, power dynamics, intimacy, control, surrender, and where Taurus wants stability and safety and grounded presence, Scorpio pulls you into depth, truth, and transformation. So if you have been feeling the influence of Taurus, now this might feel a little bit more unstable. So there's this tension between what feels safe versus what is actually true. And how this may show up in your experience is that this full moon brings a kind of intensity that really can't be ignored. It's not chaotic, but it's just undeniable. You may notice that your emotions are stronger than usual. You may notice patterns that keep returning, that are becoming very clear. And you may notice a pull to either hold on tightly or to let go completely. A deep awareness of where energy is entangled, especially in connections. This energy is not here to overwhelm you, although it might, but it's here to expose where something is not fully clean or complete yet. So the real invitation of this full moon is about seeing what is going on without interference. And that may be difficult. Scorpio asks for honesty without softening it, and for feeling without escaping it. And Scorpio asks for transformation, allowing things to transform without controlling the outcome. And Taurus at the same time is asking, can you stay in your body while this is happening? Can you remain grounded while truth unfolds? So it really is about staying present while something wants to reveal itself to you, without trying to fix it, without trying to force it, or without trying to move it. So in short, it really wants to teach us to stop fighting what's already active. It's about no longer resisting the fact that something is there, something is showing up. And that's exactly where Scorpio works. It transforms not through action, but through total contact with reality. And that can be very uncomfortable, but it's also where things finally begin to shift at a deeper level. But what you might be feeling isn't just the full moon. There's also a bigger configuration that's been building the past couple of days, and it will continue through May. So what's going on is that there are multiple planets that are clustered in Aries. I talked about this in my previous video. Mars, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, they're all in Aries, and this creates a highly activated inner impulse field. There's this raw drive, truth wanting to move. You may feel impatience, intensity in your nervous system. But the key tension is Aries is this impulse to act, and the Scorpio full moon is a forced emotional depth. So what happens? You feel strong inner activation, but you can't necessarily move outwards cleanly. So this can really feel like being activated over and over again without resolution. If you follow the astrology a little bit, then you probably know that Uranus just changed signs, which is a major background shift. Uranus is not a soft planet. It doesn't develop things slowly. It interrupts, it rewires, it liberates. And when it changes signs, the layer of reality that it disrupts, that changes. And now it has moved into Gemini, which governs perception, interpretation, meaning making, the way connections are formed in the mind. So this is not just new ideas, this is your entire way of making sense of reality is starting to shift. And what this actually does in experience is Uranus in Gemini creates sudden insights that don't fit your previous framework, moments where something clicks and then disappears again, a feeling that your mind can't hold the truth the way it used to, the instability in interpretation. You may wonder, what does this even mean anymore? And it's not a confusion in the usual sense. It's more like the old structure of understanding is no longer stable, but the new one is not formed yet. And that can feel a little bit disorienting, mental restlessness, or even like things don't land anymore. So there's this rewiring of how truth becomes conscious. Then on May 6th, Pluto will go retrograde in Aquarius. Pluto is already intense in its direct motion, but when it goes retrograde, it stops pushing outward and begins compressing everything inward. And you may already start to feel that. And in Aquarius, this specifically affects systems, patterns, relational dynamics, and the way that energy flows between people. And what Pluto retrograde actually does is, instead of changing the outer situation, it reveals the structure underneath the situation. It exposes where power is misplaced. It brings unconscious patterns into awareness. And what is important is that it removes your ability to fix it externally. So what you may notice is that you see something very clearly, you understand the dynamic, but you can't move it in the outer world. And that's Pluto saying this is not solved by action, it's solved by transformation. And how you can feel this in your system, in your body, is that there's this pressure without an outlet, an intensity that keeps returning, and a sense of being in the experience with no escape. It can even feel like you're being locked in a loop. But what's actually happening is that your energy system is being held in contact with something until the internal relationship to it changes. So it's not the situation, but it's your position within it. Now, if we combine Uranus in Gemini and Pluto retrograde, Uranus destabilizes how you understand things, and Pluto retrograde will lock you into what you feel. So you can't fully make sense of it, and you can't escape or resolve it. And that combination creates this experience that, something, I deeply feel something, but I can't move it, and I can't fully understand it either. So what's actually happening is you're being invited to remove your reliance on interpretation and to remove your reliance on external movement. So what remains is a direct experience without control. And that can be very challenging. So what is being built here, what the astrology is helping us build here, is the ability to stay in truth without needing to explain it, to move it, to resolve it, or get any confirmation. And that is a different level of stability. It's not mental, not relational, it's existential. What this can feel like in combination with that full moon coming up is you can feel it as if you're trapped in a sort of loop, maybe even an old loop where you thought that you were out. Maybe you found a new stability, everything felt good, and now it's coming up again and you feel trapped. You want relief, maybe even distract yourself, turning to food, TV, anything that can distract you. Because if your mind can't stabilize it and the situation can't release, then your body will look for discharge or distraction. It's the nervous system that is trying to regulate, so it's not wrong to do that. But the real shift that is being asked to make here is, what happens when I stop trying to resolve this? Not forever, but just moment to moment. This is just really about learning to not resist anything that feels intense and activating. I just want to add here that if you feel unbalanced in this moment, that this is very, very normal, because this is not balanced energy. It's very polarized. So please don't look at it as if there's something wrong with you or you're doing something that is not correct. I know that we all would like to feel balanced and feel like we are steady, and we get activated a lot by the divine counterpart, and we're learning to not react when we're triggered, and we're learning to be stable, to hold our energy system stable, to hold ourselves in the third energy. But this doesn't mean that we never feel anything anymore. It doesn't mean that it's not uncomfortable anymore. Even if you've been feeling you're actually in a very good place, you feel neutral about the connection, it's all, it feels okay. You're living your life. It's not strange at all in this moment to feel like all things are coming up again. Or maybe it's the external connection that is triggering you again. This is just to show you where there's still some stuff. The full moon in Scorpio is really exposing that, is really inviting us into emotional depth. The feminine energy is really going deep in this moment. And then for the masculine, there's this raw masculine current going on, this deep activation, this impulse, because of all of these planets that are in Aries. But there's just really not a clear resolution or direction because of that background of Pluto going retrograde soon, and that shift of Uranus creating this destabilization of the mental, of perception. So we're feeling more, but we're not being held. We're opening more without any landing. And you can feel like longing is intensifying again, and emotional depth is increasing, and the awareness of the connection becoming stronger again, but no external confirmation or grounding. And the masculine energy might experience a pressure to act, but an inability to move clearly. There might be awareness, but no stable direction. And this can show up as withdrawal, inconsistency, delayed action, internal tension without expression, maybe one moment being there, then gone again. So the instability that you might feel on the inside, the masculine energy is not able to stay fully present. And he wants to move, he wants to do things, but it just doesn't feel right. And so he wants to escape. That's why I said you might want to distract yourself. That's the masculine energy that is looking for a quick fix, but there isn't any. But this can also be felt in the external connection. So we're learning to stay present. That's what the masculine is learning to stay present, to hold the inner impulse without collapsing or forcing action. And the feminine is learning to stay open, to feel deeply without needing immediate response or movement. To me, it feels like we're in the ocean and we're learning to surf the waves rather than trying to calm the waves down. And sometimes it might be a little bit more stormy weather, and other times it's smooth sailing. And now this current energy is a little bit more stormy. And yeah, we're not supposed to trying to calm the waves down, but just surf along with them. And that doesn't mean that it feels stable all the time. We're balancing. And that's an important capacity to develop, because it will help us to hold the shared field without distortion. Or rather, we're holding our own energy field while we're feeling distortion in the field, in the shared field. So if we're feeling the distortion in the shared field, in the current energy, we are being shown where, as the feminine, we still move towards our divine counterpart to try to resolve what we're feeling, to get relief through connection with the divine counterpart. And this phase also reveals where the masculine energy withdraws, because he cannot stabilize the field. So you will see these old patterns, old reactions, old ways of trying to fix the connection come up again, even when you're fully aware that they don't work. So the most important advice that I can give you to deal with this energy is just don't resist. Accept whatever is coming up, accept your feelings, accept how you experience that, accept what is on the outside, accept what is on the inside. Just let go of all the resistance and let go of all of the outcomes for yourself. If you feel like, oh, I should be able to do this better, or why am I regressing? Just accept it all. It's happening. It's already happening. Accept it all. It doesn't mean regression. It's just the current energies. As we move into mid-May, then the masculine energy will gain more coherence and direction again, and the feminine will soften out of this peak intensity, and the field will become less charged and more stable, and movement will become possible again. But for the moment, it can be helpful to just stay present with what you're feeling. Maybe even focus on where in my body am I feeling this. Just observe where your thoughts are going, but don't go with them. Just observe where your thoughts are going, what you've experienced emotionally, what you experience in your body. Don't follow the stories, but you can see how they come up. See where you're losing your center. If you start to move your energy towards someone else, towards another person, a situation, see where that happens. Try to just go back to your center. And if you can't, that's fine too. Then you just know, you just see the moment where it happens. If it feels painful, if you're suffering from separation pain, just know that this comes from when you move away from yourself towards something that you can't reach. So the practice here is to feel without reaching. And I know that sounds simple, but it's really not easy. If you move away from yourself and you find it hard, you keep losing yourself in the story or in the situation or in your emotions, what might help is if you have physical anchors, like stepping outside, feeling cold air, placing your hand on your heart, your chest, your stomach, applying pressure, slow exhaling, or maybe even holding a warm drink and focusing on the sensation. They're not solutions, but they are ways to stop the escalation loop. And if you like to distract yourself, that's fine too. Just you use that consciously. So it's about really deciding for yourself, okay, I need a pause right now because it's too intense and I will come back later to my feelings. Then it's less of an escape, but more a conscious choice of regulation. And if you really feel it very intensely, the pain of separation, just know that you're not being asked to accept a life of separation. You're just being asked to stop fighting what you're experiencing in a moment. The fact that you're experiencing separation in the moment. And I mean, experiencing separation in a moment that is how you feel right now. It's not even an objective truth, if you understand what I'm saying. Because often we get this message in this twin flame collective that, oh yeah, separation pain is because you believe that you're separate and you just switch your mindset to, no, I'm not separate. But I don't believe that you can bypass these emotions, these feelings. It's not about just deciding, okay, then I'll just shift into unity consciousness and then it'll be gone. No, this is really about accepting and allowing that this is happening. It doesn't mean that we have to cling to it and we have to stay in it, but if we run from it, then it will keep coming back. So it's really important when you feel this pain to see it for what it is. It is just the state of consciousness that you're in, and it doesn't even matter why you're in it. The situation doesn't even matter. It's about accepting that this is happening and allowing yourself to experience it, and then it will pass again. So I'm really talking about what you feel on the inside, not on the external, in the external world. The pain of separation happens when we resist the current moment. And if we can accept it, then the suffering stops, that pain just goes away, and it feels better. And then we're able to feel whole and complete again. Even when the collective energy is that the masculine feels more absent, is withdrawing, we can still allow ourselves to feel present with our own feelings and emotions. Sometimes it helps to say certain sentences to yourself until you believe them. And maybe what you can say, if you experience this right now, you can say, I don't need to solve this right now. I just need to stay here. I am here. I'm always here. I'm always here for myself. Not forever, just now. And if that feels too much, maybe you can make it even simpler. one breath, one sensation, one moment at a time, because in the end, that's all there is, just the present moment. If you're really struggling for the moment with this separation pain that is coming up again, I have built this course, a Sacred Union course, where each week I'm releasing a new model, and each model gives you all of the information about the underlying energetics of the twin flame connection, but also the tools to really build that capacity to hold that sacred union within yourself and to really attract that sacred partnership in the external world. And what I'm releasing next Saturday is, I think it's the 6th module or the 7th module, and it's about being in your center and really learning to stay centered, because it's a very, very important capacity to be centered in your own energy field. If you're not centered, then it's not even possible to stay in connection with the third energy. The third energy and the connection with your divine counterpart is really based upon the stability of your own energy field. So if you are interested in that and you want to learn how to stay centered in your own energy field, even in these strong energies, or even when you get really activated through the connection with the divine counterpart, then I would really recommend you check out my Sacred Union course. I will put the link up. As always, I'm curious how you experience these energies. So if you'd like to share, please do. And if you'd like a little bit of extra support in the strong energies, on my Substack, you will find a lot of free meditations. There's also a paid membership with more meditations that can all help in stabilizing. And that's where I will leave you for the moment. Sending you a lot of love. Bye.